Angela Simmons and Yo Gotti breakup. So, as you know, for those who were following that story, Yo Gotti was up in Angela Simmons' DMs. That whole song "Down in the DMs" was supposedly written for her. And so recently, they just announced that they are calling it quits. So, I would love to get your thoughts on this. Was it really love or just PR, or was this the case of manifestation gone wrong, or maybe she manifested this breakup too? I don't know, but I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
Yo, so listen, Gotti was a blueprint for every romantic with a playlist and a prayer and a passion for somebody they thought was like the dream, right? He wanted her. He waited for her. He wrote verses about her. And then when the moment came, he showed up like a man who believed in manifestation. And as a man who believes in manifestation, I salute him for that. Respect him for that, right? Much respect. But here's the grown man reality, right? Manifestation gets you the moment. Like you get to that moment where, yeah, it's here. But maintenance keeps you in it. That's the thing with luxury, right? You can buy it, but can you maintain it? Can you keep it in its proper form? Can you keep it in the form to which it either was when you got it or that it's accustomed? Do you even really understand what the upkeep is or what it's like in the interior when you drive it for more than 6 months or whatever? Or drive it for more than your fantasies in the test drive. Anyway, I digress and I meander on my metaphor. So let me get back to it. So Angela is like more than fine. She's nice. She like legacy. She's luxury. She's curated. And I love that, she normally doesn't seem to run on vibes. She seems to be consistent, I guess. She has clarity, capacity. I think he's like that. But I think he realized that he didn't have an infrastructure for her. Whatever it took to maintain her, he just don't have it. You know what I mean? And if your life still can't grow with hers, if your values don't align for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying? I'm not even blaming him. But this isn't about Angela and Gotti failing. This is about the difference between readiness and desire. So it's bigger than just a celebrity couple. We looked at them because they're like our real life reality TV, but bigger than them is a question of when you get that thing you've been dreaming for, when it's not perfect, do you cash it in? Do you make adjustments? Do you make accommodations? Do you try to change it? Like, what's the move? Or do you quit? Because reality hardly ever lives up to the fantasy. So that's what I think is happening there.
Yeah, and I think that's the big issue. That was my takeaway from it. I've experienced that. I'm pretty sure you have, Jay. S and then we'll probably all have to some degree or another. I've been wanting them. I've been desiring this, and then it's just so magical and perfect in my head. And then the reality of interacting with her, is just like, nah, this ain't really it. She just, I got the fantasy imagination Angela Simmons, and then I get in a relationship with him, and I'm finally here. I've arrived. Then you're like, it's just regular old Angela Simmons. She fart and burp like everybody else. It is crazy. I think that's a lot of what it is, and there's no shade on Angela Simmons. That's really a tough spot to be in for somebody to be pursuing you for that length of time, that kind of desire to you. You can never live up to anybody's fantasy. That's a lose-lose situation. She was, if that's what it is, and that's how I read it, which I'm probably right, she was doomed from the start. This was never ever going to work. She could never live up to his imagination. So that's how I see it, and hopefully they can still be friends after that. And I wish them the best, but don't you're never gonna be able to be anybody's fantasy.
I was like, were they friends at first? Were they ever really friends, or was she always being the pursued? That's what I was asking. But go ahead.
No,
We can talk about that later.
Man, listen, man, I hear what y'all saying, but I feel like y'all are making more out of it than what it was for real, right? So, like, for example, right, the brother in the studio, he might have saw like some show she was on and thought it was cool to be like, hey, Angela Simmons or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, just spur of the moment. It wasn't like he was necessarily pining away for her. We don't necessarily know that. So I'm going to push back a little bit on that. But I kind of feel like I hear y'all and I want to lean with y'all because I'm a guy and I understand what it's like. You see a chick, you vibing with her, things don't necessarily live up to what you thought it was. But then why would you still be in the relationship with her though? Or why would you still then buy her gifts, et cetera, right? And then in the interview, she said she was the one that I guess decided to kind of break it off, right? Even though she respected him. Y'all talking about y'all reads, I felt like it's completely possible. Listen, I'm just putting it out there that, yeah, she was swept up in the moment. She was lonely. Here's a brother who got some shit popping, got shit going on. I remember brothers was like, hey man, yo, Gotti's chill because yo, she don't really like you for real, for real. That relationship won't last. It's completely possible that she wasn't never feeling him, that she was low key like, okay, cool, yeah, it's nice. Yeah, he's taking care of me, he's doing stuff. Ain't nobody else here that I can trust. He's solid. I respect him, right? But did she love him? Was she feeling him for real, for real? So I hear y'all, right? I get it. Because sometimes we do put a pussy on a pedestal, and therefore we get let down when we finally get a chance to hit it. But the way that he was still showing up, both in public and privately with gifts and shit like that, I think it's completely possible that, yeah, she was down for the ride initially, and maybe the relationship ran out of gas. She just didn't see a future with him for real, for real. And maybe she never did. You dig what I'm saying? So I hear y'all. But that's why, and I'll land with this, I do like, yes, men should pursue. I'm from the old school. Yes, we should put it out there. I'm not even hating on him for that, but I do think when men do that, they have to make sure they look out for the signs on whether or not the girl really fucks with them for real, for real. You get what I'm saying? Yes, you did the chivalrous romantic thing. I hear y'all, but that's where reciprocity comes into play. And so maybe she was showing it up to a point, maybe she was not. But fellas, I'm saying, I hear y'all using this as a cautionary tale. That's just one girl, okay? There's a girl out there who's gonna love on you and your romantic ass because she actually likes you for real, and not because you showed up at the time when she needed a nigga to show up. And with that, I digress.
So actually, I'm glad that you said that because to be honest, the read that I was getting from Jay and Devin was like, oh, Yo Gotti was the one who broke it off when that wasn't the case. It was like, it was Angela. And so now I understand the perspective for it because at first, when I first heard this, I was like, oh, Yo Gotti probably was like, hey, I came, I saw, and I conquered, and now it's time to move on. But that's not what happened. Instead, is she came, she saw, she conquered, and now she's moving on, which is a little twist there that I wasn't really expecting once I was kind of delve into the story because I was like, okay. And so I'm gonna have to lean more towards Nick on this in regards to like, hey, she was there for the moment. She had lost, she had a loss of life, right? That occurred, and he was there right there being this person who she needed right then and there. That was the Mr. Right Now versus Mr. Right. And there's a difference between Mr. Right Now and Mr. Right. So basically, it sounds like he served his purpose and now she has no more use for him and it's time for her to move on. She recognized it's not the course that she want to stay on. And for whatever reason, she's like, yo, let me cut you off now or cut you loose now so that we both can move on to be with other people so that you can find your Mrs. Right or Mrs. Right now, depending on which route he decides to go because of the situation with her. And she can find her Mr. Right or Mr. Right Now if she decides that she want to find somebody else. So I think this kind of plays into another story that Devin had wanted to do in regards to women and loneliness and men and all that good stuff. But we ain't gonna talk about that story per se. But with that being said, I'm gonna wish them both the best and they both got what they wanted for the time that they needed it. You know what I'm saying? He got his rocks off, she got her comfort and her rocks off too. So kudos to them for getting their rocks off and being adult about the relationship and moving along in a positive manner and not slandering each other like some clowns in these streets. We ain't gonna call Offset name or anything like that. But anyways, be adult about it. I like it. Kudos to them.
No,
Yeah,
Offset
also,
catching
go ahead.
strays.
You got something, Jay?
No, yeah, I was gonna say no. Obviously, catching the strays, but I wanted to push it back because he wasn't. What was he doing? He wasn't doing his mind his business. I wanted to push back that So what did he do wrong though? He did everything right. He did went to therapy. You know what I'm saying? He was very candid. He was very vulnerable. He told his story. He told his dark past. He was very. You know what I'm saying? He was loving. If women say they want that, he had the money. He had all these things that women say they want. Where did he do wrong? What did he do wrong? If just you can answer that on your own time if you want to. I just need to. You're the only woman here. You know what I mean?
I
But I
was
wish
gonna
I could.
answer it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I was going to answer it because, from my understanding, I think she wanted to move to the next level, but I need to confirm that. And that's not what he was ready to do. He's not ready to move to the next level. So, if she wants to move forward, and the next level for her would be marriage, and he doesn't want to get married, then that means that's not the right relationship for her.
No, no, fair enough. And like I said, I wish him well, and I think both things can be true. So that's how I feel about that.